Welcome everyone to Technofunk E-University. In this video, we will take you through the introduction to banking industry. What do we mean by banking? What is the meaning and definition of banking? What are some characteristics to qualify as a banking business? And what are some distinguishing features of bank compared to other similar institutions? So, banking industry. As you all know that bank is a service industry. Service industry does not produce goods, but they provide different services to their customers. Some examples are accounting, computer services, plumber services. So initially when banking started, these services were restricted to deposit and loans. There are people who have surplus money, but they lack ideas on what to do with their surplus money. On the other hand, there are people who want money for different needs, but they don't have money. So banks started by taking deposit from people who had surplus of money and lending this money to the others who wanted money for different reasons. Now bank charged interest from those who borrowed the money and gave back a portion of interest earned to those who deposited money with them. The difference in rate of the interest between deposits and lending constituted the revenue for bank. And this difference between interest charged and interest earned is also known as interest rate spread in banking terms. Now, what is the origin of the term bank? So this term bank apparently owes its origin to bank or bench used by the money changers during the Middle Ages. So historically, some banks were called banks of deposits. They mainly held deposit of foreign and domestic currencies. They also arranged payment in foreign trade transactions. Other banks created deposits that acted as a circulating medium of money in the society. One of the earliest banks in this category was formed when a group of government creditors combined and began using government debt as a means of payment in trade. And this slowly evolved into banking industry as we see it today. Evolution of banking. Banking might have started long back on a bench, but it has come a long way. Today, banking industry is one of the most complex service industries. Modern banks are hugely diverse commercial enterprises spanning across nations and influencing economies. These banks now offer a portfolio of large number of services. Commercial banks are an important stimulant to the economy by managing institutional credit to its customers. Today, banks are large and complex organizations. Their clients range from individuals and corporate institutions, other banks, and governments of entire nations. Banking is a service industry means they don't produce physical products, but they just provide services to their clients. Banks deal with all types of money transactions, borrowing it, lending it, and many other related activities. So now let's look at the definition of banking. So the definition of bank varies from countries to countries. Under the English common law, a banker is defined as a person who carries on the business of banking, which is specified as conducting current accounts for his customers, paying checks drawn on him, and collecting checks for his customers. Whereas in some legal texts in India, the banking company is defined as the one which transacts the business of banking, which means accepting, for the purpose of lending and investment, of deposits of money from public, repayable on demand or otherwise, and withdrawals by checks, draft, order, or otherwise. Let us now also delve into some known definitions of bank given by established authors and various statutes and try to examine the essentials of bank inferred in these definitions. According to Herbert L. Hart, a banker is one who, in the ordinary course of his business, honors checks drawn upon him by persons from and for whom he receives money on current accounts. H.P. Sheldon defines banking as The function of receiving money from his customers and repaying it by honoring their checks as and when required is the function above all other functions which distinguishes a banking business from any other kind of business. Wikipedia says that a bank is a financial institution and a financial intermediary that accepts deposits and channels those deposits into lending activities, either directly by loaning or indirectly through capital markets. A bank is the connection between customers that have capital deficits and customers with capital surpluses. Sir John says, no person or body, corporate or otherwise, can be a banker who does not take deposit accounts, take current accounts, issue and pay checks and collect checks, crossed and uncrossed, for his customers. If we look at the Banking Act of Singapore, it says, banking business means the business of receiving money on current or deposit account, paying and collected checks drawn by or paid in by customers, the making of advances to customers, and includes such other business as the authority may prescribe for the purposes of this Act. Last but not the least, as per Oxford Dictionary, bank is an establishment for custody of money which it pays out on customer's order. So from the previous discussion, we can easily identify some distinguishing features of a bank. So after looking at these definitions, we have observed that bank is an institution which deals in money. Acceptance of deposit of money from the public is the primary activity. It mobilizes the savings of people. It is in the business of lending or investing money. Profitable employment of such funds is the objective. It makes funds available for businesses financing either their capital or revenue expenditure. Banks provide financial services for a price, which could be interest, discount, commission, or any other type of fees. Banks are not supposed to refund the money on their own accord. For refunds, the depositor must make a proper demand for refund of the money. Once such demand is received, then it is obligation of the bank to refund deposits. Banks deal in financial instruments, and for banks, banking is their main business. And by doing all these activities, a bank stimulates economic activity in the market by dealing in money. So we can say that a bank is an institution that accepts deposits, makes loans, pays checks, and provides financial services. Now to summarize the entire discussion, the banks mobilize the resources by accepting deposits and utilize such funds by employing them profitably. Acceptance of deposits of money is an essential function. However, because the company is accepting deposits of money from the public, it does not make it a banker. It is necessary that the deposit accepted should also be used for lending or for investment. Currently, you might be aware that there are so many industrial units, large business houses, and other commercial undertakings which also accept deposits from the public. They also provide a facility to withdraw them when required or after expiry of a certain lock-in period. You must be aware of some corporate bonds that are issued by such bodies. Nevertheless, such institutions cannot be termed as bankers because acceptance of deposit is their subsidiary business, while the main function is either manufacturing or trading. So a banker is thus an intermediary and deals with money belonging to the people. Also, similarly, if a business concern carries on a banking business only as an ancillary to some other primary business, it cannot be considered as a bank. A bank is in the primary business of banking. Besides receiving deposits and lending or investing funds, the banks also perform various incidental services such as collection of checks, drafts, bills of exchange, interest and dividend on securities, making payment on behalf of customers, remittance of funds, discounting the bills of exchange, acceptance of valuables for safe custody like providing locker facility, etc. So we can summarize that bank is an institution that accepts deposit, make loans, pays checks, and provide financial services. The primary role of the bank is connecting those with funds such as investors and depositors to those seeking funds such as individuals or businesses needing loan. And in this entire process, it earns revenue and stimulates the economy. Thank you very much. Please visit Technofunk website for more courses on domain knowledge, functional leadership, and leadership skills. Thank you.